Hello, my fellow viewers, and welcome to All Things Techie channel. And today, we begin a series called C Sharp, and is a programming language. In my previous video, you must have heard about me defining what C Sharp is and some few other terminologies. As you already know, C Sharp is a programming language used in many programming, either for web server, whether for game development, and many more. So C Sharp was originated from C originally, and now C is basically the mother of all languages. Now, getting back to C Sharp. So in today, under the series of C Sharp, we'll begin with what data types and variables is all about. Now, first, what is data type? Now, take for example now, what particular language do we speak every single time? English is a general language we speak to each other to communicate. So we use some terminologies, either what, who, where, when. So all those are WH questions. That particular is a data type towards us. Now, but in the case of the programming language, the data types are kind of different because every time we program, we see the common data types used in each syntax, in each words, and in each number of the code used. So now, let me show you something very interesting. As you can see on the screen now, we have the common data types used in C Sharp. So if you are interested in learning C Sharp, game development is also used in C Sharp. Just like the Unreal Engine and the Unity are using C Sharp as a programming language. So there's a lot of advantage in learning C Sharp. Now, talking about the data types, we have the integer data types, real floating point types, real type with decimal precision, bullet type, character type, string, and other type. Even if you might be a programmer that is coming from another programming language, let's say like Python, or maybe you are coming from Java, you might be familiar with this. But in Python, there are some common ones which are the infloat and bool. Now, on the screen, I will display some of the common things you should know. As you can see, there are billions and there are units. So there's their minimum and maximum value that each data type can store. Talking about the integer types, real floating types, and the rest. While the boolean type, character type, they are dealing with bool, 0 and 1. Just like, let me show you back on the screen right now. Just like now, we have this 0 and 1. We all know that those are the language computer understand, which is binary, also known as machine language. So now, let's continue, please. Under the character type is dealing with an ASCII, just the American convention. A is translated to a particular number. So that is what character type is. It only store one data type, only store one value. It can be a string. Mostly it's a string. Now, let me show you some few examples in which we can use. So first thing first, let me talk about variables. In order to create a variable in C Sharp, so let's say we first initialize it by writing the data type, then the variable name, which is called x. Now, we give it an assignment operator, which is the equals to. Then we put a value, which is 5, which corresponds to the integer, that's the initial name, integer, int. So now, in order to print in C Sharp, we use console dot write line, which is equals to what? X. So now, if I run this code below, you will see that it prints out 5. 5 as the output. 5 as the output. Please take note. So now, first thing first, we talked about initialization, writing the data type, 2, giving the variable name, and 3, the value. And please don't forget, the assignment operator is an essential in making a variable. Now let's make another variable, which is called int y equals to 5. Okay, let's use another variable, another value, 20. Now, if we do something like this, console.writeLine x plus y, normal arithmetic operator, so which is the addition sign. If we do something like x plus y, what do you think it will give us? So 5 plus 20 gives us what? So 5 plus 20 gives us what? 5 plus 20 gives us what? Can anyone guess? Yes, you're right. 25 as the output. Now, in order for me not to just assume, let's run the code below and let's see. Sorry about that. Let's see what it gives us. So now, running the code below, as it takes time, let me keep explaining what variables are. There are conventions in naming variable. So for example, you can't use an special character a name a particular variable. Is that you use a name which starts in small letter. Capital is not a proper convention. Just like, for example, we have this using a capital letter of DS equals to no, please. DS equals to no, please. The proper naming convention is using lower cases as sorry about that. Using lower cases to give us a proper readability in it. So now, please, right now, you have learned how to initialize variables. That's by creating your variable. And you have learned different type of data types we have. Take note, we have the string. Let me give an example of a string variable now. As the thing keeps running, please. So string equals to, let's give a name, first name. So now given a space, we need the space. We use underscore as the space. First name equals to what? Let's use my name, Abraham. That's my name. I'm by name Abraham. So now let's use a string again, a string character. Second name, which is equals to, what is my second name? Atilola. So I'm Yoruba by name, by tribe. Please, I'm Yoruba by tribe. So now, as you can see, our code is almost done running. Now, under this first and second name, you can see I've given a proper convention. Now, you cannot add it using the string. Will you still use our addition sign? Console dot write line. So write line. Can anyone guess what we need to do? We'll put the first name. Good. First name. So first name first. Plus space. That's our string. Plus second name. This is in C sharp. So it also applies in other programming languages. They use the convention of string. So in C sharp, we first use the first data type to initialize the variable, then give it the value. So now down here you can see our first code was what, 5. The second one was x plus y, which gives us print 5. Now going back to what we need to do. Now if we try to print this again, run the code again, and you see that we were able to initialize first name, second name, combine them together, and to create a new word, string. This is what string is all about. It involves double quotes or a single quote. As you can take note, please, quotes. It can be a double or a single quote. As further on we go, I'll talk about casting, typecasting. I'll talk about different operators and operands used, and many more. We also have the char character. I think I should quickly touch that before ending things here. What the object is basically involves creation of new object like a string. String is an object. As I said earlier, is a data type. There are many eyes as we go on further. You say now in the char character now. In how do we initialize this? Write char. That's very simple. Let's give it a name. A equals to what? You put the char character A and put colon. That's it. Are we together? So now, in continuation, char A. So using the char character, it's a single quote that is mandatory to be used, not a double quote. A single quote is mandatory to be used. So a char can only store a single byte. So this, if we print this out using the console dot write line. By the way, I'm using Rider, that's the editor created by JetBrains, as our programming editor. I'll be glad if you could get it. So, by the way, this is a console the right line, and it gives us an output of what? A as a char character. That's just a single byte. Now, talking about the floats. So, decimal, this, let's give it a name called UDC. UDC equals to what? Let's give it a very pointable F. So now, in order to initialize a float, you need to put F. Please, I showed you the table earlier before, so we can make reference to it so that we can know the exact amount of value or range we have in it. So now, just to reiterate what we talked about the integer, we talked about the string, and we talked about the character char, we talked about the float, and now we'll be talking about the bool, which is either yes, which is equals to true, or bool, which is equal no, which is equals to false. So this is also an example of initializing. So please, I'm sure you can go do the rest. I just wanted to lay down the foundation needed to understand what data types and variables, and I'm glad you understand it. Thank you so much. Please do me a favor,